There is a Davidoff Signature 2000 burning in a man's hand at a cigar lounge right now. Every smoker in that room has already sized him up, and not one of them respects what he picked. That cigar, mild, factory-pressed, sold on a name that stopped delivering 20 years ago, is doing more damage to that man's reputation than a cheap suit or scuffed shoes ever could. Because past 40, the standard changes. You are no longer experimenting. You are being graded. It tells the men around you whether you develop taste or just developed habits, whether you value craft over hype, and whether 40-plus years on this earth actually taught you the difference between a real thing and a polished name. And nothing gets judged faster than the band wrapped around your cigar. Number 1 on the avoid list is the Davidoff Signature 2000. Walk into any upscale lounge in America, and you will see them displayed at eye level, priced at $25 per stick. The men buying them believe they are smoking the most refined cigar in the humidor. The owner behind the counter knows what they really are. These cigars smoke exactly like what they cost to produce. The tobacco inside costs the manufacturer less than $3 to grow, ferment, and roll. The other $22 goes to the white band. That is what the buyer is taking home. The deeper failure is what that white band tells the lounge. Davidoff has spent 2 decades coasting on a Cuban legacy that ended when the brand left Havana in 1991. The name once meant serious tobacco. Now it means an expensive Dominican Connecticut shade cigar with no spice, no body, no finish. It is not a luxury cigar. It is a ticket the buyer thinks gets him into the room. Past 40, the men already in the room can tell the difference. A man holding one at age 45 is not telling the lounge he has taste. He is telling the lounge that he paid the shop's price, trusted the shop's word, and after 20 years still cannot choose his own cigar. Number 2, the Diamond Crown Classic. This cigar lives in the same display case as the Davidoff, sold by the same lounge owners, marketed with the same word, super premium. The Diamond Crown Classic retails between $13 and $16 per stick, presented in heavy cedar boxes with embossed gold lettering and tissue paper wrapping each cigar. The packaging does more work than the tobacco. Designed in 1995 by J.C. Newman to compete with the Cuban Cohiba Siglo line, it never came close. What Diamond Crown delivers is a soft, slow-burning, virtually flavorless smoke. Critics on Cigars International have spent 20 years describing it the same way. Expected more for the price, mild stick, did not get the pow taste I was expecting. A $15 cigar that smokes like a beginner's first stick is not a luxury, it is a showpiece. A cigar built to be looked at in someone's humidor, not smoked at someone's lounge. Past 40, the men around you have smoked enough sticks to see the difference at a glance. They will not say anything to your face. They will just stop offering you their humidor when you visit. And in a lounge, the humidor that closes is the door that closes. Number 3, the Ashton Classic. This is the cigar the lounge owner pushes when a man walks in for the first time and asks for something nice. It is also the cigar the same owner does not smoke himself when no customers are watching. The Ashton Classic retails between $10 and $11. Made by the Fuente family at the same Dominican factory that produces Opus X. The cigar is well built. None of that is the problem. The problem is the flavor. It is engineered to be mild enough that any first-time smoker can finish it without coughing. Cigar Aficionado has rated the line between 86 and 92, with most reviewers using the same word, creamy. Creamy is what milk does. Even Gotham Cigars, a retailer that sells Ashtons every day, admits in their own buying guide that the brand is a bit too overpriced. When the store that profits from selling you a cigar admits it is overpriced, the cigar is overpriced. For $8, you can buy a Tatuaje Havana the 6 and taste twice the cigar. Past 40, the men around you are smoking cigars built to be You are smoking one designed to be forgettable. If you are 40 and still smoking Ashtons in a lounge full of men with real palates, you have not been smoking for 15 years. You have been smoking the same first year 15 times. Number 4, the Avo Classic. The brand was created in 1988 by Armenian composer Avo Uvezian and sold to Davidoff in 1990. The Avo Classic retails around $9 to $10 per stick, marketed in lounges as a more accessible Davidoff for the smoker who cannot justify the $25 Signature 2000. That marketing is the point. The Avo Classic exists to capture the man who wants Davidoff prestige without the Davidoff price. He pays less and gets less, and tells himself the savings make him sophisticated. Inside the band sits the same mild Dominican Connecticut blend that defines the entire Davidoff family, rolled at the same factory, blended for the same offend-no-one palate. Reviewers at Briar Babe called it strictly for mild cigar moods, warning anyone into spice or complexity that the cigar probably isn't. An Avo classic in your humidor is the public confession that you wanted Davidoffs and stopped at the price tag. Past 40, the men around you can read that compromise the moment they see the cream and gold band. The Avo classic does not signal that you understand cigars. It signals that you understand Davidoff is expensive and you found the closest knockoff you could afford. That is not taste, that is shopping. Number 5. The Romeo y Julieta 1875. This is the cigar with the most famous name on the avoid list and the cigar that has done the most damage to first-time American smokers. The brand was founded in Cuba in 1875 and made legendary by Winston Churchill. Today it is produced in 2 versions, the Cuban original, still excellent, and the Dominican Altatus version sold in every American lounge under the same 1875 label. The Dominican 1875 retails between $6 and $8, presented with the same red and gold band that has been on cigar boxes for 150 years. The band is doing the entire job. Inside sits an Indonesian Sumatra leaf over Dominican filler, rolled at the Altatus factory in La Romana for mass market consistency. It burns evenly. It draws cleanly. It tastes like nothing in particular. Famous Smoke, a retailer that has sold thousands of these cigars, admits in its own review that the 1875 is the cigar that launched 1 million cigar enthusiasts. That sentence is the giveaway. It launched them. It did not keep them. A man does not become a cigar smoker by smoking the same brand for 20 years. He becomes one by leaving it. If you are 40 and still smoking the red and gold band you bought at your bachelor party, you have not graduated. You are still standing at the start line holding a souvenir, wondering why nobody at the lounge is offering you a light. Now, the 5 cigars that do the opposite. The cigars that earn you the room's respect before you have even reached for a light. Recommended number 1. The Foundation Tabernacle Havana Seed CT-142. The cigar is a 5x50 Robusto, restrained, balanced, confident on any palate that has earned a few years in the hobby. The blend opens with dark cocoa and espresso, then settles into cinnamon, cedar, and a long peppered finish. It rewards the smoker who pays attention, not the smoker checking his phone between draws. The Tabernacle was blended by Nick Melillo, the former tobacco chief at Drew Estate, who built the leaf program behind Liga Privada before founding Foundation Cigar Company in 2015. Foundation has since become Joe Rogan's brand of choice on his podcast, where Melillo's cigars get smoked in front of 9 million listeners an episode. Cigar Aficionado rated the original Tabernacle 980 and later scored the Broadleaf Toro 984. On the lounge floor, the Tabernacle reads as a serious smoker's daily, not a special occasion stick. It pairs as easily with bourbon as it does with black coffee on a Sunday morning. This is the kind of cigar a man over 40 smokes when he has stopped trying to impress anyone and started smoking what he actually likes. At $12 to $14 per stick, the Tabernacle delivers Liga Privada character at roughly half the price. Recommended number 2. The Tatuaje Havana the 6 Red Label. This is the cigar most American smokers should have been smoking instead of the Romeo y Julieta 1875 they bought at their bachelor party. It costs less, smokes better, and is rolled by the Garcia family at My Father Cigars. The brand was created in 2003 by Pete Johnson, who wanted a Cuban-style smoke produced outside Cuba, and built around Don Pepin Garcia's family in Esteli, Nicaragua. The Havana 6 is a Nicaraguan puro under an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, with the Garcia signature triple fermentation, triple cap, and pepper blast on the first draw. Cigar Aficionado rated the Angelus Vitola 93, calling it a black cherry bomb peppered with spice and leather. On the lounge floor, the Havana 6 reads immediately as the choice of a man who reads cigars rather than buys them. The cigar disappears into conversation and reappears with every retrohale of pepper, leather, and dark cherry. At $7 to $8 per stick, the Tatuaje Havana 6 sits at the same price as the Romeo 1875 and delivers 10 times the cigar. It is the smoke that ends the bachelor party brand for good. Recommended number 3. The Espinosa La Raña Reserva. Unless you spend serious time on Cigar Aficionado's top 25 lists, you have probably never smoked this cigar. That obscurity is exactly its power. The La Raña was launched in 2014 by Eric Espinosa at his La Zona factory in Esteli, Nicaragua, named for the Brazilian Mata Fina wrapper that gives the cigar its orange-tinted band. Cigar Aficionado rated the Toro 94 and placed it at number 13 on the top 25 cigars of 2015. The reviewers called out bright graham cracker, citrus zest from the wrapper, hickory sweetness, almond, and cedar. The cigar burns slowly and finishes with a long sweetness most $10 cigars cannot. On the lounge floor, the La Raña's orange band catches the eye of every smoker who knows what he is looking at. The men who recognize it nod. The men who do not get an education. At $9 to $10 per stick, the La Raña sits at the price of mass market shop cigars, while carrying a top 25 score most of them will never touch. Smoking a cigar that rewards the informed nose rather than the famous name is exactly the kind of quiet confidence that separates a real smoker from a man with a humidor full of brands. Recommended number 4, the Aganorza Leaf Signature Selection. This is the Cuban-style Nicaraguan puro that serious smokers reach for when they have stopped chasing brand names and started chasing leaf. Aganorza Leaf is the in-house brand of Tabacos Valle de Jalapa, the Nicaraguan tobacco grower founded by Eduardo Fernandez. TABSA supplies leaf to Illusione, Warped, Alec Bradley, and dozens of other respected boutiques. When Aganorza makes a cigar under its own name, it uses the best tobacco it owns. The signature selection is a Nicaraguan puro built around the rare Medio Tiempo leaf, the top priming of the tobacco plant that ripens only on the most mature stalks. Most cigars never see Medio Tiempo because so little of it exists. The signature selection puts it in the filler. Cigar Aficionado rated the Bellicoso 981, describing the smoke as delicate impressions of nuts, bread, and cinnamon, with salty leather and a walnut shell finish. Leaf enthusiasts scored it 9 out of 10 and called the price reasonable for a cigar made by the company that grows the leaf and owns the factory. On the lounge floor, the signature selection reads as the choice of a man who knows where his tobacco comes from. The cigar burns evenly, builds slowly, and rewards a second look the way a fine watch rewards a tilted wrist. At $9 to $10 per stick, the Aganorza Signature Selection delivers Cuban-style depth that most cigars in the $4 to $30 range cannot touch. Recommended number 5, the Crowned Heads La Imperiosa. Crowned Heads is owned by John Huber and Mike Conder, two former tobacco executives who founded the company in 2011 with a single mission: build cigars at My Father Cigars in Esteli that they would smoke themselves. La Imperiosa is the regular production descendant of the legendary Las Calaveras Edición Limitada 2014. A release half-wheel rated 94 and placed at number 4 on its top 25 of 2014. The list of cigars that have scored higher than that on half-wheel is a short one. When the limited release sold out, Crowned Heads kept the blend alive as La Imperiosa, a Nicaraguan puro under Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro, rolled by the Garcia family. The cigar opens with red pepper and dark fruit, builds into charred meat and cocoa, and finishes on leather and cedar. The Cigar Authority rated the regular line 92, calling it a winner with complexity that brings the reviewer back again and again. At $8 to $9 per stick, the La Imperiosa is the most accessible cigar on this list, and that is exactly why it is here. Not because it is the least worthy, because it removes every excuse. You cannot argue budget. You cannot argue obscurity. You cannot argue that smoking like a man who knows cigars is out of reach. It isn't. The La Imperiosa is the cigar that lets a man over 40 walk into any lounge in America, light a stick that scores 92, and know the men around him are smelling pedigree without seeing a famous. At 40, the cigar in your hand stops being a treat and becomes a verdict. Leaf over label, taste over price, knowledge over name. The man at that lounge with the Davidoff Signature 2000, he wanted the room to notice his cigar. The room did. They noticed exactly what he had bought. Choose accordingly.